Do I have your permission to use this video for my online DAT course, Corrective Techniques for Movement Dysfunction?
Yes.
The assessment for this week's progressive exercises is FMS screening. I picked FMS screening because strength and conditioning programs are categorized into 7 fundamental movement patterns, such as squatting, lunge, upper body push and pull, bend, twist, and single leg patterns, and I felt like the FMS screen correlated nicely with this assessment. The first exercise she's going to do is the deep squat. Because she has trouble with this, we're going to do the next level. The next exercise is the hurdle step, and we measured her tibial tuberosities to 17. The next screening assessment is the incline lunge. The next assessment is shoulder mobility on the right and left side. And switch. The next assessment is the active straight leg raise on the right and left side. So raise up, keep your knee straight. Good. Same thing on this side. Good. The next assessment is the standard push-up. The last assessment for SMF screening is the rotary instability. She cannot do same side arm and leg, so we are going to do opposite arm, opposite knee. Breathing irregularities. So the beginning of this exercise, what it's going to do is focus on getting to her neutral spine. So lowering her back into the table, working on breathing as she's going through the exercise, and punching up and holding it for about 2 seconds. Get your stomach right. And breathe. After she gets good at that, we could add a medicine ball or some sort of weight onto that to make it more challenging. The next exercise in the progression is a wall push-up with a plus. Once the person gets stable, laying on the table, and they get more control and stability, we'll move them to a standing position. And we will start with their feet closer to the door, and as they get more challenged, we can move their feet further back. In this exercise, she's not going to be bending her elbows. Basically, she's going to be sinking in and bringing her scapulas towards the spine, and then when she comes back, she's going to push up with a plus and hold it for 2 seconds. So we'll do 5 of those. Okay, the next exercise in the progression is the push-up on the knees. And this athlete has some strength and instability issues, so we're going to start with the legs flat on the ground and just pushing up from the knee. And also because 70% of the person's body weight is pushed through a full military push-up. So we're going to try that exercise next, but we will start with this one first. So we'll try for 5. So as she's doing this, we're trying to get her to keep her elbows near her side. We're trying to get her to initiate the movement through her shoulders and not her elbow, and to be able to do good respiratory breathing as she does this activity. It'll be unstable with the physio ball. I'm just sitting here holding it so that it doesn't go forward. But this will be the next progression until we can get to a full military push-up. Okay, so as she does this, she's got to work on keeping her back flat by having a neutral spine and really pushing through her shoulders, keeping her elbows close to her side if she can. But as you're watching on the video, you can see she's having a hard time keeping that neutral spine and those abs nice and tight as she goes through this motion. So we need to focus on her breathing and really that core stability through this activity. Okay, so the next exercise we're going to do is the military push-up. With this push-up, it's a much more dynamic progression of the exercise. It requires a lot of the core musculature and upper body strength to be able to do it. The most important thing with this one is that you kind of keep that howl shape of the body, so it's almost like a bow. Okay, so when she puts her hands on the ground and her toes on the ground, she wants to stabilize. Her butt should be even, so she should tighten her glutes. She needs to tighten her abs, and she needs to be in that howl, which should equate to that plank position. So as she goes through, she needs to drive through her shoulders and really try to keep those elbows to her side and work on her abdominal tightening, her glute tightening, and keeping that flat form. Muscle and stability, it also requires cognitive function to be able to use opposite arm with opposite leg. So we're going to have her just go forward here, and then she'll reverse it and do a backwards bear crawl. Go ahead. Okay, that's good. Okay, good. All right, and that was my progressional exercise to represent the push progression for this week.